All right, Florida State is who I've got at number 12. Florida State finished 10-3 last year, and finished in 11th in the AP poll. And they've got a lot of returning talent, including quarterback Jordan Travis. They've got a lot of momentum. They also went out and got him an elite pass catching weapon from Michigan State in wide receiver Keon Coleman. This is one of my favorite running back stables in the country with Benson, Hill, and Toafili. They just put up numbers, and Jordan Travis is not afraid to tuck the ball and run. So this is a strong rushing team. They're very fun to watch, very gritty, and they really play behind, they really play behind Jordan Travis well, and he sets the pace and sets the tone for this team. Having them at number 12, I think I'm a little bit lower than some people, lower than the AP poll. But I look at this roster. Okay, so they bring in Keon Coleman, they bring in a left guard. They had to get a little bit better on offensive line this year, but they bring in left guard Casey Roddick. They bring in right tackle Jeremiah Byers. They bring in tight end Jaheim Bell, who I think is a really good tight end and a playmaker. And then on the defensive side of the ball, they bring in defensive tackle Braden Fisk and cornerback Fintrell Cypress. Now they also kept, Akeem Dent. They kept Jared Verse. They've got some playmakers on the defensive side of the ball, and I do think that I do think that Jordan Travis is a baller, and he's still got Wright to throw to and Johnny Wilson. So I think that this is a really good, really could compete with anybody when you look at the roster, 1 through 22. It's outside of that I have a challenge with, or I think that Florida State has a challenge with. They lack the depth. I think in the blue chip ratio, they're like under 50% in 4 and 5 star players. And so when I look at, the entire schedule as a whole, I kind of question what they're going to be able to do and over, 12, 13, 14, and especially if they hope to get to 15 games this season. I mean, I just don't think that they'll be able to hold par with some of these other teams that are a little bit deeper, especially if Jordan Travis goes down. You're down to maybe freshman Brock Glenn, maybe redshirt junior Tate Roadmaker. So they're limited in what they're able to do if anybody goes down. And I mean, this is college football. They got Clemson week 4, right? They're catching some pretty tough games early. Well, with Clemson in week 4, and I guess really it's Duke in week 8 would be their next tough game, but it's a favorable schedule. Excuse me, I skipped over LSU week 1. So yeah, so LSU and Clemson both before you get to their bye week in week 5. It's going to be tough to get through those 2 games. And with that, I think that they do end up losing both of those games. I think they lose to LSU week 1 and then Clemson week 4, and then end up dropping a game to a team like a Duke, Miami, or Florida, and not making it to the ACC championship game and finishing 9-3. That's where I'm at with that.
All right.
Who you got for number 6?
Number 6, I've got Florida State, and you've already talked about them, and I'm a little bit higher on them. I think that they're gonna win the ACC this year. And I talked about Florida State a lot on the last episode, but I mean, it sounds like all the transfers that they got are working out. They're really happy with what they got. They kind of had a cut was overflowing with talent there and had guys leaving, which is a good sign, honestly. They had talented guys leaving and going elsewhere because they had more talented guys coming in. Florida State's kind of weird, though, in the fact that only about 40% of their roster is blue chippers, 40 to 50%. And if they were to go on and win, a playoff game, that would be historically groundbreaking because there's never been a team that not maybe TCU, but there hadn't been many teams that have progressed to that point with that low level of blue chip talent. But like I said, all these transfers that they're bringing in, they're really liking them. With that being said, there was a lot of them brought in, so I feel like there's kind of like you don't really know exactly. But Jordan Travis, Keon Coleman, Johnny Wilson, Trey Benson, these are all guys on the offense, and they're going to have tons of productions. And they had a bunch of snaps coming back this year and guys returning. Defensive end Jared Verse is a top 5 pass rusher. He had 9 sacks last year. You lost Jamie Robinson, but everybody else is back in the secondary. So all 3 levels of the defense are looking pretty deep. And this defense was good last year at times and not good. They were very inconsistent, and that really is what cost them last year. So, are they star-studded enough to make a playoff? Yeah, I think it's possible, but I don't see them winning a playoff game unless the level of play on defense increases. But if they can beat LSU week 1, I think that is a huge boost going into the year. If you win a big game like that, sometimes you can ride your momentum. And if they can figure out a way to beat Clemson, which they haven't done in a while, I believe that also can catapult them. Who do you have for number 5?